Alright, I got a red-green Tron matchup. I really like this hand, double bridge, so even if it gets discarded or countered or something, I'm good to go. And I have an Academy Ruins with the Glimmer Void active, so I can try to get it back. Anything else, the Decay should be able to help me out. Opponent is on Tron. They have two spheres in hand. Spheres are really, really bad for me. Hmm. Now, some other choices that I had here, instead of grabbing the instead of the Shredder, were Inventor's Fair, Swamp, Blooming Marsh. I couldn't do Thoughtseize, so I figured I'd go for half the luck. And opponent is pretty much going to get Tron. I know now that they're probably going to get a turn 4 Tron because they just got the other two Tron pieces. So I draw an Inquisition, go ahead and use that to see what's going on. Fortunately, there's no threats. I was torn between doing a Stirrings or a Sphere here, and since I have Decay, I figure I'll grab the Stirrings, because if need be, I can Decay the Sphere, or they can play it early, one of the two, or they can play out a Spellskite to try to stop that. But that's really their strongest play is play Spellskite, then play Sphere, and just sit on Sphere until they can, crack it to do something good, to get like a Karn or something. Um, so I know that's their best play, so I just go for the Stirrings now. Because if they just get a Karn immediately, then I'm done. Yeah. And they go ahead and they crack it now, which I think is probably wrong, but play the bridge and go for the lock. What I should have done here is I should have gone for the lock first and held the bridge, because that way I can, now my opponent gets a free draw step here. So what I should have done is Stirrings, grab the Lantern, and just sit on Decay and Bridge, or and Decay and hold Bridge in hand to try to control my opponent's top deck. So that's a mistake on my part. Fortunately, it doesn't bite me because they draw a Pyroclasm. So now Lantern on top, good to go. Yeah, I want to get rid of the Sanctum because I didn't know what they drew here. I didn't know about the Pyroclasm. I didn't know what that was. So I was afraid that they were gonna that they wanted to get a Sanctum to start chaining into a World Breaker or something. So I go ahead and mill the Sanctum. And I normally they only run like one Sanctum, so I figure Sylvan Scrying can't really do a whole lot to me. This Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and decay that Spellskite now. Since I drew a second decay, if they draw, another sphere or a star, I can force them to pop it when I want them to pop it. And I hold the other bridge so that if they do somehow draw something to get the like a Ulamog or a World Breaker, then I can just play out the second bridge, and I'll still be okay. Yeah. Again, map doesn't do a whole lot for me or for opponent now. I do keep my opponent off the sphere because that's a demonic tutor for them. And the game is locked, really. I'm just milling myself to get more locked pieces. Let my opponent draw dead cards because I know that at some point they're going to get World Breaker. So I need a Pithing Needle. So I start milling myself to try to dig to a Pithing Needle. Sure enough, there's a World Breaker. So milling myself. Still don't see a needle, so I go for Stirrings. And there's a Pixis, just as good. So now I can Pixis away the World Breaker instead. And that is definitely game. Opponent concedes. So game 2. I sighted in, let's see. Sighted out the ley lines, because they do nothing really in this matchup. I sighted in Padim, Surgical, and a couple of wedding jars, I believe. Yeah. And good hand, natural lock with discard. Again, I'm a little worried about not being able to do discard on turn 1 because of the mana here, but whatever. So I just kind of hope that they don't have a whole lot. Yeah, I saw them draw it, but what am I going to do? Sack my Lantern? I still want to Inquisition. I could let that resolve and just gain 4 life, but I want to shuffle this away. I'm not immediately worried about Sanctum, because they have to get Tron before Sanctum gets online. So I draw a Needle, which is good. And so here I play the Inquisition, hoping that I don't get punished here because the Glimmer Void, and I have to draw the Nature's Claim. My opponent is on a 1-land hand, and they have no colored mana, but I go ahead and grab the Nature's Claim anyways, just in case. And then I'll Needle Expedition that. There could have been an argument for naming Ugin, but whatever. Yeah, just play out what I can. There was a possibility that I might be playing into a Oblivion Stone, but we got to draw it and draw the mana first. Yeah, Inquisition. Kind of have to draw the Scrying, or get the Scrying. Yeah, and opponent just concedes rather than waiting for me to draw a Lantern to keep them on 2 lands. So yeah, Tron, no win.